Welcome back. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont joins me now. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here on this somber Sunday. Senator, I'm wondering if you can give us your reaction to the events that unfolded in Pennsylvania yesterday and what you think needs to happen in this country to prevent this horrific, completely unacceptable act of political violence from ever happening again.
Well, Kristen, thanks very much for allowing me to be with you today. For a start, I think everybody in this country, no matter what their political views are, wishes former President Trump a rapid and speedy recovery, mourns the loss of innocent lives and those who are wounded, and understands that political violence of any kind or shape or form is unacceptable, it is un-American, and we've got to put an end to it. I think in this traumatic moment, it's time for all of us to take a deep breath, remember what this country is about and what political campaigns are about. And they're about serious discussions of serious ideas as to how we address these serious problems facing this country. So let's use this moment, if there's any silver lining in this tragedy, it's to figure out how we go forward peacefully, constructively, and intelligently.
Absolutely, Senator. And you obviously have been impacted by political violence yourself in 2017. That horrible moment when Republican Congressman Steve Scalise was shot at baseball practice. You came out and forcefully denounced what had happened upon learning that the suspected shooter had been a volunteer for your campaign. How does that experience inform how you think the country can move forward right now?
Well, let me also say that a couple of months ago, my office right here in Burlington, Vermont, with 7, I was not there at the moment, but there were 7 staff members there. I was almost burned down by somebody who's in jail right now. 7 people could have been burned alive. So yeah, I am familiar with political violence in all its forms. The bottom line is what we need as a nation, what a democracy is about, is not radical rhetoric. What it is about is a serious discussion of where we are as a nation and how we go forward. You know, in a certain way, Kristen, politics should be kind of boring. You know, our healthcare system is dysfunctional. How do we fix it? Well, it's kind of a boring discussion, but we need a healthcare system that guarantees healthcare to all people. We have massive income and wealth inequality. Well, maybe a boring discussion. Should 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society? So I think what we have got to see is serious discussion of serious issues and not this kind of harsh rhetoric that we have heard for the last number of years.
Senator, you know, before all of this had happened, I invited you to come on to talk about your op-ed, your perspective on the 2024 campaign. Obviously, there has been a lot of discussion about whether President Biden should pass the torch, whether he should be the standard bearer. In your op-ed, you say enough of all of that discussion. You say it's time to put the divisions, quite frankly, to rest about whether President Biden should be the nominee. I wonder if you think this moment will impact that debate, and if so, how? No,
I don't. Look, I don't. I mean, I think President Biden is the strongest candidate the Democrats have. I think he has a very, very effective record that he can run on. We are finally lowering the cost of prescription drugs. We are rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. Finally, we're beginning to deal with the existential threat of climate change. We're trying to do our best to protect a woman's right to control her own body. It's a strong record. But what I have been critical of, and I'm seeing good things, I thought President Biden's speech on Friday night was really good. And I think he talked about what he wants to do with a Democratic Congress in the first 100 days of his administration. And, you know, when he talks about expanding Social Security, Kristen, you know, we have half of our seniors in this country are living on less than $30,000 a year. We got to improve benefits, and we do that by lifting the cap. You got millions of seniors who can't afford to go to a dentist. We have to expand Medicare to include dental, hearing, and vision. Workers who want to join a union, unable to do that. We have to pass the PRO Act. We have to raise this minimum wage, which is now $7.25 an hour, to a living wage. That's what he talked about. And I think if he continues to talk about that, I think he gets reelected.
All right, Senator Sanders, you said something significant today, that our politics, is your hope, should be boring again. Here's to that happening. I think everyone, no matter what their political perspectives, can agree to that this morning.
Right.
Senator Sanders, thank you very much for your perspective. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.